Welcome back. My name is Rob Peoples. You can call me Peeps. And today, I want to talk to you about why most salespeople, good majority of salespeople are not very good listeners. And it's really natural. Like, I get it. Like, I also needed a lot of direction and help with actually listening to people. Top sales professionals, people who are great communicators, have an overwhelming tendency in a sales environment to be thinking ahead, right? Ooh, I'm listening to what they say. And our instinct as salespeople is, what do I respond to that with? What do I need to say? All right, I'm gonna prove it to you. Okay. Think about like conversations you have with your friends or family members, and I don't know, it could be about anything. And your friend is talking and you hear something that you want to tell them. So in your mind, you're saying things like, don't forget that you want to say this. You're looking at them, right? You're nodding, but in your mind, you're saying, don't forget that this is what you want to say next. Okay. You're looking at them still and you're nodding and you're like, oh, I can't wait for them to be done saying this because I can't wait to say what's on my mind. Right? I'm not lying. It happens to all of you, right? It gets the best of us. Especially in a sales environment, because in sales, we are in a position where we have to perform, right? So something happens to our psyche is a good way to put it, where we kind of forget how to listen. And it's almost like, because we're in sales, we want to be thinking strategically about everything that we're going to be doing next, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But when we're listening to a client, we have to shut that down, okay? For a few reasons. One, it can come across as really like disrespectful if you're not really good at listening. Number two, and most importantly, you're going to miss really important details if you shut down your conversations prematurely because you are trying to go somewhere and you're not letting your client tell you where they want to go. Super vital. And number three, the more you learn, the better, right? Slow down. Right? Be okay with having longer, drawn-out conversations because you are focused on listening. But that's only half the problem. The other half of the problem is we as salespeople were wired to do that. I think even as humans, we're wired, just like I said, when we talk to our friends even, we're like, oh, don't forget to say what you're saying. Yeah, I'm listening, but I'm not. I'm looking at you, but I'm not really listening. It happens all the time, right? So I'm going to teach you all three unbelievably simple tactics that you can use to stop one-upping your clients. That's what I call it, right? Just stop one-upping your clients. Stop, hey, what am I going to say next? Yeah, I'm listening, but I'm not. How do we stop that? Okay, and these things are so simple. Number one, paraphrase. Okay, paraphrase. If your client tells you we're tired of seeing houses that need all this work done and we don't want to see that. Instead of thinking about what you want to say, we'll avoid that, let's go. Take a minute, paraphrase. All right, so what you just said to me is you've been seeing homes, really kind of tired of that. We want to avoid any homes that need a bunch of work. Did I hear you right? That's it. Okay? Why? Because that opens the door for them to expound on what the reason is. Maybe the reason is financial, so you can think of ways around that if you do find a house with a bad bathroom or something, right? I'm going to cut to the chase. Learning is good, right? Stay in the pocket. By paraphrasing, okay, I hear what you're saying. You don't want to see homes in this area or in the condition where a bunch of things needs to be done. I can totally get that. So why is that? Why is that? Talk to me about what you've ran into. And you see how I'm slowing down? I'm not moving on to what I want to do next. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be investigative. And paraphrasing is going to allow me to slow down. Actually, it's kind of a fact. When you give your brain a job to do, so you say to yourself, okay, I'm training myself to paraphrase. When I look at this person, I have to prepare to paraphrase what they said. What happens is you shut down the, I'm listening, but I'm not. I'm listening, but I'm not. Because your brain now has a functional job. It says, I need to listen carefully enough that I can say this back. And if you give yourself that level of pressure to be listening, there is no way that you'll be like, I need to say what I want to say. I'm going to say what I can't wait to say this. It's not going to happen. I know y'all think I'm crazy. Keep going back to that, but it's true. We got to shut down the self-talk. It's leading us down the wrong path. The second thing that we can do, folks, number 2, is I can recommend you write it down. So who says you can't be in a conversation with someone and have a notepad and literally be writing down their thoughts, feelings, right? Because again, if we go back to what I just said psychologically, if you're giving your brain the job to do, which is, I'm going to write down the things that you're saying, it is impossible for your brain to go down the road of, okay, I'm only half listening, so I can't wait to say things. Okay? So the two things we've discussed, paraphrase, say back what they're saying and write it down. Do both. You are going to be the best listener of all time. Now, I, on the other hand, I told you all, I'm throwing myself under the bus. I had a lot of work to do to become a better listener. I still do. Okay? Again, common characteristic of salespeople. Now, I know there's a few people watching this probably have been in meetings with me before. And what you're going to find is actually, I'm going to ask you, have you ever watched a movie, right? Or been watching a great speaker or something incredibly interesting or beautiful even, or hearing something like a symphony and you find your hand gravitates to your mouth like this? I don't know if you know this, but that's something that just happens. And what it's doing unconsciously is it's holding your focus. I don't want my focus to go anywhere else. Now, what I call that is something physical. If you train yourself to do something physical when it's your time to listen. So what I do when I find myself like I'm not listening, right? I'm not listening. I catch myself. What I do is I take my fingers and I place them over my mouth, just like this. Now, what that does is symbolically, it's saying, shut up, Rob, right? Don't talk. It's not your time to be thinking of what do I want to say next. Okay? I have taught people to put a little rubber band on their wrist and snap it when it's their turn to listen and snap it when it's their turn to talk. I know it seems silly, but over the phone, if you're on the phone, try it there so people aren't like, why is that person snapping a rubber band? Right? You can do little things like, cross your hands when it's time to listen and uncross them when it's time to talk. It's not about what you're doing. It's about attaching something physical to the act of listening. It's a reminder. Time to listen, Rob. Time to listen. Time to listen, Rob. Time to talk, right? I can't tell you how many people I've helped become better listeners by just sharing those three very simple things. Say what they're saying back to them. Turn off the, I need to say something. Turn it off. Write it down. It will be impossible for the self-talk to happen. And number three, if you still need help or you catch yourself in the middle of a conversation, you're like, I'm losing it. Something physical. Shut it down. Shut it down immediately. When you do these things and you stop trying to sell everything and you stay in the pocket and you pick up on every little detail because you are controlling yourself versus yourself getting the best of you, you're going to find you're going to learn more about your clients. You're going to earn trust faster. You're going to get more listings. I'm telling you. Why? Because all of your competitors out there, all they care about is what they're going to sell you or say to you next. Be the difference. And when you're the great listener, you will find people will tell you, thank you for listening. You're the first one who has. But it's tough. So we've got to shut down that subconscious. We've got to shut down that self-talk and that need for us to be moving the conversation and the sale forward. Slow down. Okay? Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you learned even one thing from this that you can apply to your business that makes you a better listener and thus a better sales professional and realtor. Don't forget, be a great listener. Again, thanks for joining me. My name is Rob Peoples. You can call me Peeps, and I hope to see you in all the other videos, maybe even some live events we might host. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon.